that.
The only band that matters. Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's talk about I, Tonya.
Yes.
I, Tonya is the okay. Now let me get this straight. It's the comedic, dramatic biopic
Yeah.
about Tonya Harding. Not just about the events around the Tonya Harding Nancy Kerrigan scandal.
Life.
Yes, exactly. About Tonya Harding's rise to stardom and how she became the first woman at the time, to ever hit a triple axel in competition in competitive ice skating. And I think since then, this is what 25 years later.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, something like that. She's still only one of 4 women to ever successfully do it in competition.
The triple axel.
The triple axel.
Mm-hmm.
Really kind of just peaked with a certain thing, and I haven't seen this movie, but I'm just going to talk about it a little bit.
Go for it.
When I was young, this was a huge deal.
Yes,
and
it
most
was.
normal people don't know about like
Tonya
the ins
Harding
and out
ice
of
skating
the
and
ins
figure
and out
skating.
about figure skating and skating in general. You know what I mean? So the whole controversy and the whole the thing surrounding this, obviously, with her hitting Nancy Kerrigan's knee and then hiring a goon. It was just something out of a really bad Schwarzenegger movie, and it was like so captivating for me that I thought this was
political
normal.
drama of the figure skater getting whacked in the knee.
Correct. It was such
We're on the 24-hour
big,
news cycle now, covering.
It was such a big weird deal that like I thought that was just like, hey, you know, it made the Olympics exciting. It made me want to watch it. You know what I mean? It was like, you know,
That's true.
It
That's
brought
very true.
people to it, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
thought, like, wow, the Olympics are crazy. That's how cutthroat and competitive it is. And, like, honestly, it didn't rub me the wrong way in terms of, like, people are doing bad things to each other. I just thought it was, like, at the highest level of competition, that's what people are willing to do. And that's what I took away from it. As a kid, I'm like, wow, that's how great it is.
I mean, when I was a kid, they was bigging this up. So you're right. I mean, for most of us, it was kind of like blah. I remember I was into it just because it was all this televised propaganda.
It was like
of,
the OJ trial.
I mean,
It was the
even
proto
before
OJ
Ice.
trial. Before OJ, there was Kerrigan Hart. There was Kerrigan Harding.
Yeah.
There was Harding Kerrigan.
Oh, so before she even hit her knee, though, it was like this big deal. Like, okay, we might have Americans who's gonna be able to finish gold and silver. So it was like this big deal that these two may get gold and silver. The assumption was that it's gonna be Nancy obviously gonna be the one getting gold, and Tanya's obviously gonna be the one getting silver. It was like
My mom
already
was all about
pigeonholed
Tanya.
that way.
I didn't know either. My mom was
but
like,
then-
no, Tanya.
Yeah.
Kerrigan
I don't
ain't
think
nothing. My
anybody
mom was
did, of
like,
course.
But then when Nancy got clipped, it was exactly what you said. Like, I gotta watch this
You
now.
have to
Like,
watch
I
this.
have to watch
But
this.
you get pictures of this one woman who's like the picture perfect ice
Poster
skater. Then you get
child.
like the kind of the trashier like
Well,
you
it
know.
was America's sweetheart versus
Right.
America's bad girl.
Not
And
just
that
bad
made
girl.
for-
It was a class thing. It was
so a class
so
thing.
much
Hence
people were
why-
attached to it. You're right.
Hence why everything made her the bad girl. She was
Yes.
from the wrong neighborhood. She had the wrong attitude. Her skating style. She skated to ZZ Top.
Yes,
did.
You know, yeah.
because she
And-
has taste.
That's right.
And she
Dire
had
Straits was
awesome
next.
routines, and the odds were always stacked against her. And the one thing I really like about I, Tonya is this movie portrayed everything fairly, but it didn't make it boring and it didn't make it sensational. It just told the story.
It didn't make it
in-
sensational?
It didn't make it
It
sensational.
looked like that from the trailer. It looked
Well,
like
they
it
have to get your butt in the seat.
I
somehow.
get it, but
No, it's actually a very honest telling from Tanya's point of view. Well, not just from Tanya's point of view, from Tanya's point of view and the media's point of view.
She breaks the
And
fourth wall, right?
She
Through
breaks
all
the
this,
fourth
right?
wall, and that's part of the comedic effect of this.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great way to go, too, because had they just told the straightforward, staunch story, it beat some Edward R. Murrow stuff. It's like, I came to see an entertaining story, and at the very least, I want to see someone get whacked in the leg and then someone else acting ignorant. And they presented it in a way where you don't get exactly that. You actually get the real story and background and what led up to that, and where these people came from, which I thought was really cool to see.
which most people don't know, because most
Most
people
people don't
just
know,
like me
unfortunately,
just
like-
remember the knee.
Well,
They
exactly,
remember the
the way-
hired goon with that mustache.
Yeah, and the way
They remember that.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, if you'll notice when you two broke it, if you'll notice the way you two broke it down.
And she's crying and clutching her knee. I mean, I watched a 30 for 30 on this. It was
Why?
like, from that point on, actually, I've developed a soft spot for Tonya. After watching the 30 for 30, I'm like, man, Tonya had a hard knock life.
She did,
So
bro.
when you put this out to the team, because y'all know Pat's a showrunner, when Pat pushed it out to the team to see who cover it, I was so bad that I got the message late, because I so would have went out there and seen it, because I have this soft spot for Tonya, because I'm like, you know what? I can relate to her story of just being somebody who literally grinded her way to the top.
I think because
And-
we're poor, bro.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And ultimately, I mean, does the movie at least show the fact that she may or may not, like, at least she didn't know that her husband was gonna hire this goon to clip Nancy.
No, and that's one thing that was really covered that people really had no clue about at the time, and even to this day didn't. I was gonna bring up when you guys broke down your knowledge of the incident just now. You mentioned that when she hit her. And it's Pavlovian to automatically associate Tonya Harding with the attack on Nancy Kerrigan, but
no, it was
the movie
another
breaks down the truth, which was revealed in news stories eventually, but was really glossed over by the public at the time. And then when the OJ trial came around, which was literally right after this, everyone just completely forgot. It was out of the nation's mind. What happened is, and it's portrayed in this film.
Man, what a glorious time, those 90s. You know what I mean?
Wild,
seriously.
It's portrayed in this film. This is not a spoiler because it was
national
news.
This is history.
Tonya had no idea, but everything that her at the time husband did and her bodyguard, which was pretty much just his dumb friend, did was misinterpretations, all to advance her career. And she found out after the fact, but she didn't report it automatically, and that's what they eventually penalized her for. They penalized her husband, arrested him. They penalized the friend, the bodyguard, and arrested him. And Tonya, even though they arrested her for not necessarily aiding and abetting, but impeding an investigation, that's what she eventually ended up getting banned from figure skating for life from competitive skating, which is really sad because Margot Robbie's performance in this is very sympathetic, and you really see that Tonya really, like, from birth. Maybe not from birth, but from like week one. Like really, it was like that mother.
It sounds like a little bit like the People versus Larry Flint in terms of the kind of having this character that's has this history of this this troubling stuff. You know what I mean? Obviously Larry Flint with Hustler magazine, but like having a really
Harding with her figure skating. Yes, it was a little.
But different. A sympathetic side to the tale. You know what I mean?
Someone who's been
it's like a little
vilified.
bit misunderstood. You know what I mean? There
and
is
the
that stigma.
portrayal in this by Margot Robbie was phenomenal, I have to say, and it's a very uncharacteristic role for her. We're used to seeing her playing more sexually appealing characters, more
Wolf of Wall Street, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Characters that are a little more confident, characters that have more presence, and Tonya Harding's a little reserved. She's someone who it's like you get in her face and she's gonna take you down, but she's not looking for a fight. She just wants to be accepted, just like any other female in society. She wants the acceptance of her peers and to not be hassled like most women unfortunately have come to be accustomed to being hassled in our society. She never really had much money going for her, and she's taking part in a sport, figure skating, which is
having all
about
talent in the world.
It was worth nothing to these people. And the movie really portrays that really well. When she gives a great routine, they still give her low scores because she didn't have the visual image that they were looking for. Her costumes aren't as fancy as they wanted.
Well,
her music isn't as classy because it's rock and roll, but no one wants that because the girl after you is skating to Tchaikovsky. Is skating to Beethoven.
Well, it's just like you're having the deck stacked against you, you know what I mean? More ways than one. Not just with how you're born, but like how you perform, and then you're still in the hole because
and Allison Janney's portrayal of her mother is phenomenal. I think they might be up for Oscars. Allison Janney.
That's what they ask it as. Is this good Oscar worthy?
Yes, because you buy them completely. At times, I stopped seeing Margot Robbie, and I honestly saw Tonya Harding, just this woman struggling in the story, this woman being beaten. Like having her husband beat the hell out of her. This woman grabbing a shotgun and just fighting them down. I have to give it a thumbs up. I will say there are several parts of this that really, one, it was very entertaining. I really want to harp on how serious they took it, which was surprising because I thought they would completely lampoon it, but they took it very seriously. They told an honest story. Margot Robbie's performance was on point. There's a courtroom scene, the actual courtroom portrayal. A brother damn near teared up. It's like serious, and at no point are you out of the story. I knew all this, and I was still riveted. And you get the actual facts come out. You find out what's going on with Tonya back then to today. They didn't have much coverage of Kerrigan herself. The character Nancy Kerrigan is represented in this, but they kept the focus primarily on Tonya Harding, which is kind of ironic because physically, Margot Robbie looks more like Nancy Kerrigan than she does Tonya Harding.
Hey, the knee clip happened though.
It did happen, brother.
Okay, cool.
What are we talking about here?
Just gotta make sure. Just gotta make sure.
Yeah, it's the story.
You said Nancy was barely in it. I'm just trying to in the portrayal of Nancy was barely in it. Like,
she was.
If I see a knee clip, we got a problem.
She was in it to get whacked in the knee and taken out. Okay,
good,
that's the extent of her on here. But I have to call out the acting of Margot Robbie. From before this, I thought she was an okay actress. Now I see she's got range and she's got chops. Allison Janney, we know she does good stuff, but this might be the performance that gets her that Oscar nod. And we'll see from beyond there because it was that deep. And also Sebastian Stan. Sebastian Stan, who we all know, he plays Jeff Galooly, but Sebastian Stan, who we all know as Bucky from the Avengers, who we all know as the Winter Soldier. This dude, he always looks like himself, but he always doesn't. And I have to give it to him because it wasn't until I saw this that I realized this dude can really change up his look, can change up his acting style, and can really deliver a performance. This wasn't Shakespeare. This wasn't his best performance, but this was different enough from everything else I've seen him in that
he had to drop weight, didn't he, for this?
He had to drop a little weight, yeah, because he's not like D's, like
Winter Soldier,
like Winter Soldier, but he still had to have that redneck strength. Yeah. So when he comes,
swinging something.
Yeah, so when he's swinging that trailer, you believe it. It's Tonya. I definitely give it a thumbs up. I recommend anyone check it out. If you're a fan of figure skating, you'll love it. If you're a fan of just biopics, this was a good one. And if you're a fan of just old school, I don't even know. I'm trying not to say the obvious terms.
Say it.
But just lowbrow, Jesus.
Storytelling.
Just see it. It's Tonya. It's damn good.
You know who says who ain't gonna see it? Nancy said she ain't seen it.
Oh
yeah, Nancy Kerrigan said I have no interest in seeing it.
Yeah.
She said she ain't gonna see it.
You know what? If
she said I've been there and I've done that. I'm like,
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I'm sorry, dude. It's a recount of her getting yoked. It's just
she got a silver.
Why?
She got a silver.
Yeah, exactly. She got a silver. She was rated even by these hard asses second best in the world.
Why?
To an 18-year-old Ukrainian.
Why?
Yeah, that's the thing I thought was that's the thing I thought was the funniest part about everyone. Like, oh, is it gonna be Nancy? Is it gonna be Tonya? They were like, it's
what's colder than dry ice? By the way,
forget them. All right. Okay, so now I'm gonna kick it over to Black Adam.